UFC 291. All right.
Let's get right into it.
I was looking forward to this one. Dude, Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. We can start talking about it right now. Unless you have what's going on?
No, that's perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. I was like, did I miss something? But yeah, so with this fight, again, the first fight was epic.
Mhm.
Like every other Justin Gaethje fight, excitement. It was a full-out brawl, full-out battle. And even Justin Gaethje talks about the fact that, like, before the evolution of Justin Gaethje, where there's a more patient, more calculated Justin Gaethje now, this was the fight, the Dustin Poirier fight that made him think, like, hey, I got to fight a different way, man. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Because before that, it was just, I'm going to run at everybody. I'm going to throw as hard as I can. I'm going to leg kick the hell out of you. And I'm going to throw these massive punches. And you're going to wilt eventually. But that can only get you so far, right? And then he faces Eddie Alvarez. And he faces Dustin Poirier. And he gets stopped by both of them. And it's like, maybe that doesn't work at this elite level. I need to reconsider. And then he reconsidered. And he became this Justin Gaethje.
And I'm glad he did. And I'm really glad he did, man. You know,
because I didn't want, because I was watching Gaethje when it used to be World Series of Fight. I watched him fight Nick Newell on Access TV with one arm, all that stuff. And when he came to the UFC, I was like, oh, get ready. I was actually at Barry's house watching the Michael Johnson, his debut fight. And I was like, dude, this guy right here, this guy's insane. And then he has that highlight reel fight for his debut. And I was a little worried that it was, this guy's not going to be here for a long time, but he is going to be here for a good time. And I'm very glad he's been able to adapt, improve, and extend his longevity, because it means we get more Justin Gaethje fights. And it's not like he became boring. It's just he became a little smarter, you know?
So, like, in the first fight, we talked about this in the predictions episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Justin Gaethje was throwing those heavy leg kicks, and then Dustin would come back with 1, 2, 3 punch combos, and then Justin would sit there and bite down and swing back. And you didn't see that this time. He would land that leg kick, Dustin would come at him, and he'd step, get some lateral movement going on, you know, and he was just a lot pickier. On when he was throwing it.
And the thing that I was saying is the inside leg, because the Gaethje leg kick that's debilitating is with his rear leg, his right leg. But he landed a ton on Poirier in the first fight, and he ended up, I think he tore his quad or tore his hamstring or something like that. But it's not like as effective as far as like changing the trajectory of the fight, the inside leg kick versus the outside leg kick. But because they're open stance, southpaw versus orthodox, that rear leg kick that's normally an outside kick for Gaethje isn't nearly as effective. And then in this one, you see a ton of step up outside leg kicks with his lead leg. And as soon as he started doing that and he wasn't throwing that rear leg for the inside leg kick, I was like, man, this is a little sketchy, because the outside leg kick, even obviously your rear leg kick is going to be more powerful, but you could see that step up outside leg kick was heavy from Gaethje this fight. And I was like, oh no, he's doing the outside leg kick, not the inside leg kick. Regen says, I ran into Justin at the Nate Diaz-Michael Johnson fight. I asked him if we'd ever see him in the UFC. He said, I don't know. Look at him now. So happy for him. That's cool. He's always seemed like a dude, you know?
BMF champ now?
BMF champ, interim champ, BMF champ. He just needs that one.
Man, I know. That ever elusive.
No one has ever gotten all three.
Ooh, he'd be the first ever, huh?
He'd be the first ever. You know, I saw going into this fight, someone was like, BMF, people who have fought for the BMF belt are 0-6 against undisputed or in undisputed title fights. It's like, oh, damn. There's only been 4 of them.
Not a very good record.
Well,
no, but man, you know, you also mentioned something with Poirier's high guard, where he comes in with the high elbow to block that quite a bit, right? That was really interesting to see too, because that element is still there, right? That's just part of
rolling his shots beautifully.
Yeah, that's first round. Dustin's and you know that I think it was the first round too, where Justin lands that head kick, and it was partially blocked, but you could still hear the foot smack the side of Dustin's head. And the thing I love about Dustin, man, is that every time he gets tagged, he looks at him, gives a little
Yeah.
nod, and then just puts his fist back up and starts walking forward. He's just such a
Yeah.
savage, man. So much fun to watch. Both these guys.
Yeah, I was telling it was my brother's birthday yesterday. We were at the beach, and his buddy Lucas was there, and he was asking me, he's like, "Who do you have?" And I was like, "Honestly, I have Poirier, but it's one of those things where like if they fought 10 times, I would not be surprised if they were 5-5 against each other, you know."
Mm.
Um, and the first round, I had Dustin Poirier winning that round because he was rolling with shots very well. He was throwing that front kick to the body really, really well. And I was like, man, that is money. And then he only threw it like 3 times earlier in the first round, and he didn't really go back to it later on. Not that there was much time, but I was like, that is a money kick because they're the whole elevation thing. Gaethje always gets tired because he throws so hard with everything. Like that is going to be that's a ticket right there. He stung Gaethje with the
He
left
did.
at one point, and I was like,
He
ooh.
did.
And
Straight left.
even Poirier, yeah, Poirier said in the post fight press conference, he's like, I stung him, but I thought maybe he was kind of baiting me to come in so he could land a big
Mm.
shot if I like. And he's like, in hindsight, maybe I should have tried to capitalize on that. Um, I don't think he was that hurt. I think he probably would have thrown a big shot if Poirier kind of tried to come in on that.
Yeah.
Um, and then in that second round, that high kick was there again, and it was Leon Edwards, Alex Caceres. You throw that right straight with your rear hand, and you follow up with the same side high kick.
That's
You turn your
beautiful,
hips
man.
over. It is beautiful, and Poirier he brings the arm up to block that right straight, and it's still there for the high kick, but it didn't matter because sometimes you could
Nope.
kick through that shin and it still has that power.
And then when he was, you know, he was out right away because his head
Yeah,
bounces off the canvas, right? It was just one of those falls where you're like, oh, he's out.
it's
And
over.
then
Yeah.
your boy, Herb Dean, comes in with the people's
Oh,
elbow,
beautiful.
full speed, bah, right on, on Dustin Poirier. You can see Dustin, like, he's still kind of out of it, but he looks over and, like, reaches
Herb?
for Herb Dean.
Yeah.
Like, he probably thought he was still fighting because Herb straight up, bah, landed on him. So he's like, oh, dude, I'm still being attacked here.
I like.
And it's no, it's Herb.
I
It's
thought
Herb just landing the people's elbow.
I loved it honestly. I thought Herb did a great job. He slipped. That's what happened, right? He ran in to
Oh,
stop it, and
he
he
slipped.
he
I
slipped.
bet you anything he asked him for some hot sauce in the back, and Dustin was like, "Buy it, bro." And he's like, "All right, I
Yeah,
see you. I'll see you
yeah.
out there. I'll see you out there
See this elbow?
on site."
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dude,
But yeah,
it was
what
bad.
a beautiful knockout by Gaethje, uh, and then they immediately they had it queued up. It's crazy. They had it queued up. They pull up the Leon Edwards high kick because that was the last Utah event. Um,
Yep.
and they show that, and it's man, just the same exact thing, just with the other side, right? Instead of the left kick, it was the right kick.
The side to
Um,
side comparison.
meanwhile, Kamaru Usman's in the cage celebrating with Gaethje, watching himself get flatlined on the big
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, did they show it on the big screen? I wonder if they did.
Maybe I don't know, but it was hilarious them cutting back from that, and you see Usman in there, and you're like, damn,
Yeah,
that's the
man.
dude that got flatlined last time, just like that.
Who knows? Maybe Usman
Like
was the
Wilbur
one that
said.
was like, "Hey, let's work on this, Justin. Let me show you how this worked on me. Maybe it'll work
Yeah,
on Dustin."
yeah, and it was really cool to see Poirier. Man, he's such a class act. You could see them the way they were like talking with each other in the cage after the fight before they read the official decision or announcement or whatever. It was cool to see both of them with a mutual respect and just like he just got caught. You know,
Oh
it was
yeah,
cool.
and Justin Gaethje when he says, "Yeah, I told Dustin before that he's my favorite fighter,"
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool, man."
dude. Because like you mentioned at the beginning of this, you're like, yeah, because every Justin Gaethje fight is violence. I was looking forward to this, and I was like waiting for you to be like, and every Dustin Poirier fight is violence too. So it's
100%.
because both of them, they've never been in a boring fight. They're just
So
constantly battles.
I had some friends over last night. Shout out Haverda, shout out Hiller, and you know the whiskey's flowing. We're having a good time, dude. And you know your boy, dude, starts getting even more excited
Yeah,
when I have a little bit of that whiskey in the system. And so I was telling these guys, I was like, dude, this is guaranteed violence with these guys. Like
hmm
every once in a while, you'll have, you know, a couple fighters that are about to go up against each other, and you're like, well, this should be good. And
yeah,
then,
and
you
then
know,
sometimes it fizzles.
they nullify each other, you know, because it's a feeling out process and a really
hmm
long feeling out process. Somebody tries to do something that the other person didn't expect. you expect both these guys to go in there and just bang, man. And every
Yeah,
single time they freaking
they just
deliver. And I
do.
absolutely
And
love it.
yeah, and it's crazy because like you hear both of them talking about in the lead up of this fight. There's no shit talking. There doesn't need to be any shit talking. There's just yeah, I'm just trying to prepare my body for like what it's about to go through, and like and you're just like God damn, like could you imagine the lead up to you're fighting if you're Dustin Poirier, you know your style, and you're fighting Justin Gaethje, you know his style, and you're like it's inevitable. I'm gonna be
It
in the
is what it
hospital
is.
after this, and
It is what
like
it is. Yeah.
yeah, that mental the mental game of this is so insane to me. Both these guys knowing that they're about to just get in multiple car crashes, and they're like, "That's the date. I'm preparing for the car crash." Like, imagine that.
Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy.
crazy. So Justin Gaethje was ranked third. Dustin Poirier was ranked second. Justin, now the
Mhm.
BMF champ, probably moving into that number 2 spot, right?
He
Um,
probably fights the winner of Islam and Oliveira, right? You get a title shot most likely after this.
yes. Yeah.
The UFC is going to
Uh,
capitalize on this
I I really like the thought of Charles beating Islam and then Charles going up against Justin again.
for the rematch. Yeah, I
Oh,
would
dude,
rather
I would love that.
I would rather Islam beat Charles again, and then Gaethje versus Islam, just because it's a fresh matchup. And I think
Mm,
it people are. I see already people are like it's going to be the same as Habib versus Gaethje. I don't think so. Islam is not Habib. He doesn't have that crazy aggressive pace where he's just in your face, not giving you any room, smothering you. He's a little bit more like willing to kind of stand and trade and things like that. So it's a much more interesting fight, I think, Gaethje versus Islam than Gaethje versus Habib was. Regent says, I
yeah.
really hope Dustin retires, man. I love him, but either fight the people ranked below you or get out of the way. Yeah, in the post-fight press conference, they asked him, like, do you want to fight these unranked guys? Or not unranked guys, but these guys that are these up-and-coming guys. And he was like, not really. And it's like, dude, you know what? I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to either. But yeah, it sucks when there's someone with a ranking who's going to sit on that ranking and not allow people to challenge for that ranking.
Yeah.
Um, and at lightweight, who are those fights? You know, at this point, is it a
Yeah.
Gaethje rematch for the trilogy? They're 1-1 against each other. They both stopped each other. If Gaethje loses a title fight, he'll probably maybe they'll do that. Um,
I mean, listen real quick. We have Diego Ferreira, Matt Frivola, Steamroller Frivola,
yeah,
Renato Moicano,
Money
Jalen Turner,
Moicano.
Grant Dawson, Dan Hooker, Rafael Dos Anjos, Armin Saryukian, Matus Gamrot, Rafael Fiziev, Michael Chandler, Benil Dariush.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm the UFC, I'm trying everything I can to get to book Armin versus Poirier. Um, that fight's not going to
Mm.
happen. But if you're Dustin and you're saying, yeah, I want these fun matchups that excite me, things like that. Who Oliveira's fighting for the belt. Um, maybe they do a rematch there if he loses his title shot. Gaethje's going to fight for the belt after this. There's no way they run it back right away. Chandler, he just beat him. Dariush is coming off a loss. The only he, yeah, it's just
Do you think he'd go up in weight?
he said I don't think he should, and he said in the post fight press conference this was the best weight cut he ever had when they asked him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Regent says, how are these lower ranked guys supposed to make a name for themselves when the top guys won't fight them? Yeah, that's been the case with lightweight for a while now. With Gaethje finally, it took him a year to finally people pestering him to finally fight down and fight Fiziev, which granted he did and he beat him, so props to him. Um, but yeah, it shouldn't take that. And yeah, if in my opinion, if you are a ranked fighter, especially in the top five, and you lose a fight and you are not taking those fights, if you turn down two up and coming fights and you're sitting on a rank, they should drop you in the rankings.
Ooh, I like
It,
that.
it should just be an immediate drop.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
if you're Dustin, if you're Poirier and you're saying, yeah, I just want fun fights, then the ranking shouldn't really matter to him anyways. So,
Ah, that's a
you
really good
know,
point.
you can't have it
That's a
both
really good
ways.
point. Regent says it's like when Stone Cold was at the end of his career and refused to lose to Brock. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come
I
on,
like
man.
that. Yeah. But yeah, that was a very fun main event.
Yeah,
You know, I
delivered.
there's a couple of fights that I would watch every weekend if they were on every weekend, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
So
Give me
props to both
Gaethje
fighters.
versus Poirier in the main event. Give me Figgy versus Moreno in
And
the
Moreno.
co-main.
Oh yeah, all day, dude.
Every
Hey,
week.
all the time.
Yeah.
And give me Boatan versus
Versus Izzy.
Stylebender.
Yeah.
Because it's pins and needles
Yep.
every single time, man. But yeah, hey, perfect
Speaking of.
transition. Speaking of Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz, oh man, this is one.
Questions
Oh,
were
by the way,
answered.
hold on. Let's go back because we did have a
Yeah,
prediction
let's get
episode,
it.
and your boy did pick Justin Gaethje by KO.
Yes, he did.
Pa pa pa. Yes. Who did? So you picked Dustin Poirier,
I picked Dustin, yeah.
your boy from Louisiana, and
I'll still ride that anytime.
who did Rich pick?
I think he
Do
picked
you
Poirier
remember?
as well.
You did? I can't remember.
I
Maybe
can't
Rich
remember
can
either.
type in the chat. Dude, how bad are we at this? We
I know.
we,
We're like,
we did the picks
take
on
note of what
Thursday.
we
We don't remember who we picked.
Yeah.
Or who picked who. That's funny, but I did pick Justin Gaethje KO. I had predicted
Yeah.
4th round KO. My prediction came to fruition a little sooner, but still predicted nonetheless. Hey everybody, Romero and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.